Put your money safely tucked in a house of bricks. In this educational episode, I'm going to address how to protect your money from market downturns or market crashes. Get ready. You're going to understand why money has to have a home and where the best house for your serious cash should be. So I'm Doug Andrew, and I've been a financial strategist and retirement planning specialist now for nearly 5 decades, helping thousands of people optimize assets and minimize taxes and get ready for long-term goals such as retirement so that they will not outlive their money. Well, one of the concepts that I love to teach is how to protect your serious cash, the money that you're socking away for long-term goals like retirement, from market downturns, whether it's the stock market or the real estate market. And I remember years ago when I was preparing to release my third book, which became a New York Times and Wall Street Journal #1 bestseller the second week it was released in 2007. We were so grateful for the receptivity of that book. It was a $1 million advance from my publisher, Time Warner. And I remember as I was working on the book, I happened to be down in San Francisco working on it. And as I was retiring that night, I was sort of thinking, golly, I've got to come up with a metaphor to explain indexing and why IUL, Indexed Universal Life, allows you to accumulate, access, and transfer money tax-free, but it's immune from market downturns. You may not make much when the market goes down, but you don't lose. And so I went to sleep, but this was in my mind, and all of a sudden I had this dream, okay? And I dreamt about the story of the 3 little pigs, okay? And you've heard that story, you know, the 3 little pigs, and one builds his house out of straw, and the other one builds his house out of sticks. And the other one builds his house out of bricks. And of course, the little pigs that built their houses out of straw and sticks, their houses get blown down by who? The big bad wolf. So I'm going to use this metaphor, and they all move over to the house of bricks once they learned their lesson the hard way. Okay, so I'm having this dream, and I'm going, oh my heavens, IUL is like a house of bricks. And when you have your money in the real estate market, that's like the house of sticks, and money in the stock market is like the house of straw. I don't know how I dreamed this, but I was dreaming this. And so I woke up and I realized if I don't write this down, I will forget it. Because sometimes, I would have dreams and I think, I'll remember this. And the next morning, I could not remember the dream for the life of me. So I actually reached over and grabbed my cell phone and pushed record, and I recorded my dream. Otherwise, I would not be able to go back to sleep because I would try to remember not to forget, okay? And so I got up in the morning, I went back over to my computer, and all of a sudden I go, wait a minute, I had a dream last night. I recorded it. Sure enough, I pulled out my smartphone and I played the dream that I dictated, and it was this metaphor. And so that was the beginning, and ever since then, I have used this example to explain this concept. So money has to have a home. Now, a lot of Americans will choose 1, 2, or 3 of these places to put their money. So we have some people who will put their money into real estate. Others will put it into the stock market. In fact, 91% of Americans choose to put money into tax-deferred IRAs or 401ks invested in the stock market because most asset managers, they're trained to say, oh, the market, if it crashes, the market always comes back. Just hang in there. Well, this is like putting your money in a house of straw because the big bad wolf. Now, who's the big bad wolf? Some people say, the IRS? No. I can see why they would think that. But the big bad wolf would be recessions, crashes, pandemics, earthquakes, hurricanes, things that happen out there that we have no control over that cause a domino effect, and the stock market reacts, Wall Street does, and the stock market drops 5, 10, 15, 20, 30%, and then panic ensues, and people lose 40%, like twice in the decade from 2000 to 2010. 2001 to 2003, due to the 9/11 terrorist attacks, most people lost 40%. It took 4 years until 2007 to get back what they lost. In 2008, they lost 40% again due to that mortgage meltdown. That was the big bad wolf, the mortgage meltdown. Okay, so this is going to keep happening, folks. Money has to have a home, and your home for your cash should not be in the house of straw in the stock market during your golden years. Wall Street was not designed to create predictable income. Okay, now some people think that real estate is the cat's meow until the real estate market crashes. It doesn't happen as fast maybe as the stock market, but in 2008, 2009, a lot of people who owned real estate, they saw the value of their homes, their apartment complexes, their commercial real estate drop in value when supply became greater than the demand, 30, 40%. My home went down in value about 35% in one single year. Now, I didn't lose a dime because my money, my equity, is not in my home. I keep all of my cash safely tucked over here in a house of bricks. And so the point I like to make with this metaphor is I want to participate when the stock market is doing well, but I don't want my money actually trapped in that house of straw. People say, well, how can you participate when the market goes up without your money in the market? It's called indexing. My money is safely tucked over here in a house of bricks in a max-funded indexed insurance contract. When you look at these, money market, CDs, annuities, they're okay. They pass the safety test, but they don't pass the rate of return test, meaning you don't earn a rate of return equal to or greater than the inflation rate at the time or the cost of funds. And so the only one that really passes liquidity, safety, and rate of return test with flying colors, and it's totally tax-free, is a maximum funded insurance contract. And so if it's structured correctly and funded properly, it is what I call a laser fund. And I'll gift you a copy of this book at the end of this episode if you stay with me. So a max-funded indexed universal life insurance contract is where I put my serious cash safely tucked in a house of bricks, because the multi-trillion-dollar insurance industry is not only the backbone of America, but the backbone of the world. This is where banks and credit unions put 30 to 40% of their Tier 1 assets for liquidity and safety. You look at the Great Depression, and when the stock market crashed and some real estate dropped 80% in the Great Depression, the multi-trillion-dollar insurance industry came through with flying colors. They came through crediting 2.5%, 3.5%. Not one single legal reserve insurance company went under in the Great Depression. Banks closed. 40% never opened their doors again, but the stock market, horrible. And same thing with real estate. Some real estate dropped 80%. Well, what about 2008? In 2008, 400 banks went under. 900 more were on the brink of going under, on the watch list. And that's when the federal government asked the 5 major banks in America to disclose where they had their Tier 1 assets for liquidity and safety. Guess where they had 30 to 40% of their Tier 1 assets. It wasn't in the stock market. It wasn't in real estate. It was in insurance companies. And banks were paying 1% interest on the average to depositors, and they were earning 5% tax-free in insurance contracts. Now, how much more is 5 than 1? That it's not 4, it's 5 times. They pay $10,000 in interest on every million they borrow of OPM, other people's money, and they earn over insurance companies $50,000 on every million. $50,000 is 500% more than $10,000. And so they increase the safety by usually 6 notches higher. Most of these insurance companies are rated AAA. A lot of banks are only rated BBB. So you don't achieve liquidity, safety, and predictable rates of return tax-free when you have your money in the stock market. So what I do is I keep my money safely tucked over here. Now, by using indexing, the insurance company credits me if I link to an index. So if you don't understand indexing, search different educational videos on this channel. But that's where if I have $1 million of money over here in my Index Universal Life, anytime I feel bearish about America, I can just settle for the general account portfolio, maybe 4 or 5%. They'll pay me $40,000 or $50,000 that year, and it's tax-free. But any year that I feel bearish about America, that I think the stock market's going to do well, I don't want to chance it. So what I do is I tell the insurance company, keep my $1 million safe over here in the house of bricks, but take the interest on my million, the 40 or 50,000, 4 or 5%, and that funds an options budget in the index that they offer that I choose. Let's say the S&P 500, meaning if the stock market goes up, the 50,000 of options allows the insurance company to credit me 12% or 16% tax-free. I get to earn 120,000, 160,000 tax-free, maybe up to a cap. But the trade-off is, if I guess wrong and the big bad wolf blows down the stock market, I don't lose. I still have the million. I relinquished the interest on my million, but my million is still safely tucked over here in a house of bricks. But I get to participate when the market goes up, but not lose when the market goes down, when the big bad wolf blows the stock market down. Does that make sense? What about real estate? I keep all of my real estate equity. I've never paid a down payment for any piece of real estate I've acquired. I've satisfied down payments. I don't send extra principal payments against the mortgage. I usually refinance my real estate holdings every 3 or 4 or 5 years. And I keep all of my money over here safely tucked in a house of bricks, where it's liquid, safe, earning predictable rates of return at average returns of, let's say, 9% tax-free, whereas I borrow money on real estate at 4.5% tax deductible in a 33% bracket that's only costing me 3%. I'm making 9, it costs me 3. I'm making 90,000 on every million on my real estate, and I'm only paying 30,000. That's 3 times or 300% more. I'm my own banker. But see, when the real estate market goes down, I don't lose. When my house went down in value in 2008 to 2009, I didn't lose anything. My money was safely tucked over here, and I was earning at least double the net cost of the mortgage. I was in control because my money wasn't in the property. It would have taken 4 or 5 years for my house to come back up to what it was worth in 2007. I didn't lose a dime because my money is safely tucked in a house of bricks. That is a max-funded indexed universal life. So I get to participate when the real estate market goes up. I get to participate when the stock market goes up. But when those two go down, when the big bad wolf blows them down, I can sleep at night when the wind blows because my money is not in the stock market or the real estate market directly. Does that make sense? So if you want to learn more about how to safely accumulate, access, and transfer money tax-free by utilizing one of these, I want you to read and study this book. It's called The Laser Fund. It retails for $20 on Amazon. I'll pay for the book. So first of all, let me explain. It's 2 books in one. This side is about 200 pages, 14 chapters with all the charts and graphs and explanations of how to accumulate, access, and transfer money tax-free in this house of bricks. But if you learn more by stories and examples, you can flip it over to this side, and this is for the right brain learner. This is containing 62 stories of how a max-funded IUL helps you achieve all kinds of financial goals. It's the dream solution, not only just for retirement, but for all kinds of goals, college funding, working capital for your business or your real estate management, whatever you're doing. Here's how you claim your free copy. You simply go to laserfund, laserfund.com, or click on the link below. You contribute a nominal amount towards the shipping and handling. Have a little bit of skin in the game. I'll cover the rest of that cost, and I will pay for the book. I'll fire out a hard copy of this 300-page book to you. And while you're in there claiming your free copy, check out if you want to listen and learn or watch and learn. There's also educational webinars that are free. We teach on a weekly basis. You can even schedule an appointment with an IUL specialist to see some illustrations on how a properly structured laser fund can help you safely tuck your money in a house of bricks so you're immune from the big bad wolf when it blows down the stock market or the real estate market.